All right, so hopefully you typed all those in Desmos and you got these answers right here. You'll notice that some of them were not exact numbers, right? Like negative 7.5 for number two, that was rounded. It was like negative 7.47, something of that nature. So you won't get exact answers every single time. And that's why Desmos is so helpful, is because for those weird ones, those decimal answers, you often really would have really struggled to get those by factoring or by using the quadratic formula. Um, if you did number four and you got a little stuck, let's see why. Okay, so y equals negative 2x squared minus 4. And you start looking at your graph and you start asking yourself, well, hold on a second. Where does it cross the x-axis? Now, here's what happens, guys. You guys are so desperate to get an answer. You're so desperate to write something down that most of you guys write down 0, negative 4. It's like, no, 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 no. It's the vertex could be a solution, but this is not a solution. This is not crossing the x-axis, right? Your x-axis is right here, is right there. Y equals 0. If it doesn't cross that blue line, that x-axis, then you don't have a solution, and that's okay, right? For all of these we did, but in this particular case, we don't have a solution. There is no solution. So that's what you would just write. If it doesn't cross the x-axis, then we have no solution. And that's fine. All right, it's not gonna be a solution every single time. So if it doesn't cross the x-axis, we have no solution. All right, moving on to the last two slides, because basically what happens here is sometimes you'll type in an equation and you won't be able to see everything that's going on, right? Desmos makes this so much easier than it used to be. Back on the yellow old school TI-84s, that it was just miserable. So for this example, I'm just going to, make sure I'm centered here at the home screen, right? And let's go ahead and type this in, right? So I'm going to go ahead and type in my equation. And my equation in this example was negative 1/4. So negative 1 over 4 x squared plus 5x plus 5. Okay, plus 5. And so when we look at it, we're like, well, hold on a second. Is that a parabola? It is a parabola. The problem is you just can't see all of it, right? We just can't see it. We can't see where the maximum is up top. We can't see where it's coming back down, right? And so you basically have two options here. And this may be even stupid for me to point it out to you because you're probably like, well, duh, I know exactly what to do because you guys are so good with technology. But if you pretended that this Desmos window was your smartphone, you would kind of like pinch to zoom out or pinch to zoom in, right? Um, or you would just click and drag. So that's what we're going to have to do here. We have two separate things that we end up doing. Okay, you can do two different things. If you can't see your zeros, you can either zoom out, okay, or you can that up, simply click and drag. Okay, so you either zoom out or click and drag. Either one, it's completely up to you, whichever you prefer. Sometimes one will be better than the other, but it's honestly either one is going to be just fine. So on my screen here, I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and I can start to see them there. So I'm going to click and drag at the end. Now I get this full picture of the parabola, right? So with the home screen, I couldn't see what was going on. So I chose to zoom out a little bit, and then I clicked and dragged, and I can see now what my parabola truly looks like. So that's what happens if you can't see your zeros. What about if you can't see your maximum? I kind of already just told you, didn't I? Right? You're going to do the same thing. In fact, I'm too lazy to type it again. I'm just going to copy and paste, right? So on the first one, let's type it in again. Negative 7x squared, okay, plus, I think it was 2x, and, 25, rather, 25. Oh, I gotta go back to my home screen, click the house. So again, I can see my zeros this time, right? I can see my zeros, just like I did in the screen there, but I can't see the top. I can't see where the maximum height is. So just like we did last time, we're going to either zoom out or we're going to click and drag. It's that simple. You guys have no idea how terrible it used to be on those old calculators. But if we want to be able to see the maximum, the top, we can just zoom out and click and drag a little bit. And now we can see the vertex and we see that it's maxing out there at 27.3, right? So really important that we're able to identify where the maximum height is, where the zeros are, and if you can't see them, that's how you do it. So really short lesson today. Do that, practice. Tomorrow, one of our last lessons, we're going to use that same skill.